As the story unfolds, Ziraleth's logical, unfeeling nature begins to crack. What was meant to be an easy evaluation of a weak, backward species is quickly becoming a challenge that no amount of technology can prepare her for. The humans, in their strange, emotional ways, are starting to make her question her own beliefs. And as the tension builds, Ziraleth wonders, what if the humans are not as primitive as she has been led to believe? As Ziraleth continues her exploration of Earth, she watches more of humanity's everyday activities, and with each new scene, her confusion grows. The simplicity of human life leaves her speechless. She observes a mother in a small kitchen, cooking dinner with care while her children play in the next room. The smells of fresh food fill the air, but it's not just the food that catches her attention. It's the way the mother's face lights up as she smiles at her children. There's a love and tenderness in the air that Ziraleth can't understand. In her own world, emotions like love are considered distractions from logical tasks, but here it seems to fuel everything. She moves on and witnesses a father caring for his sick child, his face full of worry as he gently feeds her soup. There's no hesitation, no calculation, only love and sacrifice in every gesture. Ziraleth watches, mesmerized. The idea of a parent's devotion to their child, especially in a time of need, is alien to her. How can these beings, so weak in comparison to her people, show such deep emotion for each other? She then observes a group of friends laughing together, watching a silly TV show. Their laughter is loud, their joy infectious. The way they share this moment of happiness, completely unaware of the weight of the world around them, confuses Ziraleth even further. These humans, so unpredictable and full of raw emotions, are so different from her own species that she can't help but feel overwhelmed. It's almost as if the emotional depth of humanity is suffocating her, making her question everything she thought she knew about the universe. The moment that truly shakes Ziraleth happens when she watches a couple arguing in a quiet cafe. The words are sharp, their voices raised, but then something unexpected happens. The argument doesn't escalate. Instead, the couple softens, and before long they're laughing together, hugging and making up. Ziraleth's mind races. In her world, conflict is resolved through cold logic, calculation, and precise action. Arguments end with decisions based on reason, not feelings. Yet here, these humans settle their disputes with empathy, understanding, and compassion. It's this raw, unfiltered display of emotion that takes her completely by surprise. Ziraleth feels a strange discomfort, a pang deep inside her. Could this be what humans call love? She doesn't know, but she feels something unfamiliar, an emotion that stirs inside her chest as she watches the couple's reconciliation. For the first time, she realizes that emotions like love, kindness, and forgiveness could be as powerful as any weapon or piece of technology. Just as Ziraleth is lost in thought, the calm of the moment is shattered by an emergency alert flashing on her communicator. A terrorist attack has taken place in a nearby city, and the situation is dire. Ziraleth watches from a distance as chaos unfolds. Humans, despite their vulnerability, rush into danger. Soldiers equipped with basic gear, not advanced armor or weapons, charge toward the scene, determined to protect their fellow humans. They defuse bombs, rescue civilians, and battle against attackers armed with far superior technology. Ziraleth can hardly believe her eyes. These humans, so fragile and outmatched, are fighting not just to survive, but to protect each other. It's an act of bravery beyond anything she expected. Ziraleth's thoughts race as she watches these humans throw themselves into harm's way with no regard for their own safety. She feels a new sense of awe for them. They fight with something that isn't in her people's arsenal. Human courage, fueled by a deep emotional bond to each other. This bravery shocks her, but it also moves her in a way she never anticipated. She begins to realize that in the end, humanity's greatest strength is not their technology or their advanced civilizations, but the love and loyalty they have for one another. As the day progresses, Ziraleth finds herself increasingly fascinated by the human family she has been quietly observing. They seem so different from her own people. No cold logic, no complex technology, just the raw, simple joy of being together. She watches as the family gathers around a table. their faces illuminated by soft candlelight. They share a meal, laughing and telling stories. The sound of their voices, full of warmth and connection, fills the air. Zeraleth is struck by how easily they bond over such simple things, like the taste of food or a shared memory. For Zeraleth, this is something entirely foreign. In her advanced society, emotions are often buried under layers of technology and rationality. Relationships are formed through data transfers and precise calculations, and even work is done through complex systems controlled by artificial intelligence. But here, in this small, simple family, humans find joy without the help of any technology. The family members communicate through smiles, laughter, and stories. No screens, no artificial intelligence, just the unfiltered, genuine connections between them. Zeraleth can't understand it. How is it that these simple, emotional beings can find happiness in something so mundane? The contrast between Zeraleth's world and the human one becomes even more apparent as she continues to watch them. In the backyard of the family's home, an elderly woman tends to her garden with the assistance of a highly advanced robot. The robot's movements are graceful and precise, its metal body gleaming in the sunlight. It's a perfect example of the advanced technology Zeraleth is used to, powerful, efficient, and capable of doing anything. Yet, Zeraleth's eyes are drawn to something even more surprising. A young human child, no older than 5, is playing nearby. The child is kneeling in the dirt, building a sandcastle with their bare hands, completely engrossed in the task. There is no technology involved in the child's play, just dirt, sand, and pure imagination. This simple, innocent scene overwhelms Zeraleth. She is used to seeing beings who rely solely on machines and technology to do everything, but here, a child finds joy in something as basic as building with sand. The emotional depth of the moment strikes her deeply, and for the first time, she feels a strange sense of admiration for these humans. It's in their smallest, most unassuming moments that she sees their true strength, an ability to love, to connect, and to survive even in the simplest of ways. For Zeraleth, this realization is overwhelming. She had come to Earth expecting to find a primitive, weak species. Instead, she is discovering something entirely unexpected. The strength of humanity lies not in its technology or its weapons, but in its ability to form deep emotional connections. These connections, born from love, compassion, and shared experiences, are what allow humans to thrive. They are what make them truly powerful, far beyond any technology or advanced machinery. Zeraleth's journey through humanity's daily life has already been filled with surprises, but nothing could have prepared her for what she is about to witness. After watching humans interact in seemingly simple yet deeply emotional ways, she finds herself in the middle of a community facing a devastating loss. A member of the community has passed away, and Zeraleth, though she has learned much about humans, still cannot grasp how deeply this loss impacts them. The community gathers to mourn, but it's not just mourning. They are celebrating the life of the person who has passed. Zeraleth watches as the humans come together, not in sorrow alone, but in a kind of joyous remembrance. They speak of the deceased with love, laughter, and stories. Some even smile through their tears, reminiscing about the good times they shared. There is music, there are candles, and there is an overwhelming sense of love in the air. The ceremony is filled with emotion, not logic. It is not a solemn, robotic ritual like anything she is familiar with. It is raw, it is real, and it is deeply human. She feels her own emotions stir within her, a sensation she has never truly experienced before, and it overwhelms her. Zeraleth's mind is overwhelmed by the stark difference between her own species' view on loss and what she is seeing in front of her. To her, loss has always been something that can be analyzed, fixed, or avoided through logic. But here, these humans are showing vulnerability, something she cannot understand. How can they value emotion so much? How can they face such a powerful emotional event and, allow themselves to grieve in such a deeply personal way? The concept of loss as a shared emotional experience, rather than a problem to be solved, nearly causes her to collapse. She feels as though her heart is racing in her chest, and for a brief moment she wonders if she is having the same reaction as these humans. She feels something she's never felt before: fear, confusion, and awe. She's unable to comprehend it. Could she ever understand the depth of human emotions? The truth hits her like a blow. As the ceremony unfolds, Ziraleth takes a step back, trying to regain her composure. She's flooded with questions. How can humans find strength in their vulnerability? How can they form such strong emotional bonds despite their technological limitations? The humans may not have the advanced machinery or the cold logic her species relies on, but their ability to connect with each other on a deep emotional level is something far beyond her understanding. She's beginning to realize that perhaps the true strength of humanity lies not in its ability to fight or to conquer, but in its ability to love, mourn, and bond with others. Ziraleth is forced to admit to herself that she does not understand humans at all. She had come to Earth thinking that her species was the superior one, that they could easily dominate these primitive creatures. But now she feels a vulnerability she has never felt before. In the face of loss, in the face of love and connection, humans have something far more powerful than anything her technologically superior species can ever possess. A deep, unsettling truth settles within her. Humans have an emotional intelligence that could never be matched by machines or logic. By the time Ziraleth's visit is coming to an end, everything she thought she knew about humanity has been completely shaken. Initially, she had viewed Earth as a primitive, weak planet, full of chaotic emotions that her highly advanced species would never understand. But now, after spending time among humans, seeing their acts of love, compassion, and resilience, her perspective has changed dramatically. She has witnessed firsthand how these seemingly inferior beings possess a power her technologically superior civilization could never replicate: emotional intelligence. Ziraleth reflects on her mission and the journey that led her to this revelation. She came to Earth to evaluate it, to judge whether humanity was worthy of an alliance with her empire. What she found, however, was something far beyond her understanding. The human's ability to form deep emotional bonds, to face challenges with bravery, and to overcome personal loss with love and unity was something that transcended technology. It was a form of power unlike anything she had ever seen, a strength that came not from machines, but from their hearts. The ambassador now realizes that her mission was not just about observing humanity. It was about learning from them. She has come to understand that humans, in their own way, are not weak. They are far stronger than she ever imagined, and their strength lies in their connections to one another. Ziraleth has learned a valuable lesson. The true power of a species doesn't always lie in its technology or weapons, but in its capacity for love, compassion, and unity. As she prepares to return to her fleet, Ziraleth sends a message back to her people. Her tone is solemn but firm. Underestimate humanity at your own peril. They are not weak. They are a force stronger than we ever imagined. She now sees Earth not as a potential target for conquest, but as a planet with immense potential. Humanity is unpredictable, wild, and unlike anything her people have encountered before. Earth could be an ally, a wild card that could change the balance of power in the galaxy. As Ziraleth's ship ascends, leaving Earth's atmosphere behind, she takes one final look at the glowing planet below. It's a beautiful sight, but now it holds far more meaning for her. Her last thoughts as she gazes down at Earth are filled with a mix of admiration and caution. They might not have the technology to defeat us, but they have something far more dangerous, something we can never control. The story ends with this ominous reflection, setting the stage for what could be a future filled with potential alliances, unexpected conflicts, or even shifts in the balance of galactic power.